2,000 prisoners escaped during Sunday's attack on the capital.
To sport.
What a fairy tale story here. There they are, the champions of Africa.
In entertainment and simple tourism with plenty other issues.
Get ready for the roller coaster ride. So we day-to-day story them as we dive deep into the heart of the matter.
Every weekday on Slick Television, Channel 37, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Tune in and stay informed like never before.
The Today Show, only on Slick Television. Every second that the society they make headline and the issue them can up now we aid, even for clear them kintkanga.
In Sierra Leone, a new drug is turning young people into zombies.
So important for broke down the issue today.
Dark ages of football, and I vowed on that day at Hill Valley that whatever is buried, I am going to unearth it. I remember saying to them in one point, it's either you go home or I go home alone. But me and Una not reach na salon together alone. If not disgrace with us, so now one person go left now. So, and yes, to them, and it's not going to be me. Yes, I said not to me.
Now let's come to the real story behind the pitches. How we are able to convince FIFA to approve the project, and just what the public need to know about this one.
It's a shame that I have to clear this because I don't understand why there's any doubt or controversy. Everybody at the FA knew about it. If you are following football, like you and everybody else, it was there, it was laid out. It was under my tenure. And yes, it was approved under me. I proposed it myself together with my EXCO members. We talked about it. We talked about which region, which province would have what. And then, you know, I mean, I even had plans to have a beach soccer department.
Okay.
Because again...
Hello and welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you watch me live on Slick TV, and this now Today Show will come to you from Monday to Friday. Well, today we are going to talk to a female football administrator, and within our resident, also we can get an exclusive interview with the first ever Sierra Leone Football Association female president and the first ever Sierra Leonean female will attain the seat of a FIFA Council member. So within our resident now, and ladies and gentlemen, with me now, I get the honor for introduce Madam Aisha Yuansi, we special guest for today. Good day, it's a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
I'm sure it's been a while. Sierra Leoneans have not heard from you. Yes, how does it feel to be back home?
Well, unfortunately, I'm back home for very sad reasons. My mother passed away, and she's buried a week ago. So, you know, it's a bittersweet feeling. But, you know, home is always home, and I have my mother, you know, my son's here, and there's family. But this time around, it's, yeah, it's not the kind of homecoming that you want to come back to.
All right, so now let's discuss a little bit out. Whilst I was giving the intro, I started to mention that you are the first ever female president in our country, and also you became the FIFA Council member, the only Sierra Leonean to have attained that height. Let's talk about that quickly.
Well, I'd like to add to that, not only was I the first female FA president in 2013, I was also the first female to...
August 3rd, right?
Yes, it was August 3rd.
That's almost like a day.
It's my father's birthday.
Yeah.
You know, that was, what, 12 years ago? In 2013. I was also the first female to be elected into the CAF executive committee. You know, Lydia Sikeri, she was co-opted, but to go through an election. And I was also the first female to be elected into the FIFA Council for Africa. Okay, so yeah, so how does it feel, did you say?
Yeah.
Well, of course it feels good, but this comes with hard work, determination, and you were mentioning about integrity. You know, these are all the things that, you know, build up and frame leadership, if you like. And I've always said that these things I do for country first, and self comes after, you know, but it's all about the pride of a nation and putting your best foot forward for country. So it feels good.
All right, so on Saturday, we are going to have another SLFA election. I'm sure you've heard about the tension going around on social media among the football delegates and also the football family. What are your reflections about Saturday SLFA elective congress?
The thing is, I don't do social media. You know, you know, there's my Insta and my phone status, you know. Okay. But of course, I have heard, you know, of skirmishes and you know, the normal. And what are my reflections? You know, it's bittersweet. I reflect back on the years when I was vying for that position, and I think it must have been like 10 days or maybe even a week before the closing date, and I declared for my presidency, and you know, the whole country, the whole place turned upside down. What do you know about football? Even though I had my, you know, my history with FC Johansson, and really, you know, that's what I used. I used FC Johansson was my manifesto, and I used that to ask the stakeholders to allow me to replicate what they'd seen me do with FC Johansson on a national level. But my reflections on what is going on now, it saddens me. It's worrying, it's unfortunate, it's even embarrassing, you know, because clearly lessons have not been learned. So, you know, I can go on and on about that, but my reflections, I go back to when it was my time. I go back to 2021, when I stepped down and raised Daddy Brahma's hand and, you know, gave my support to him to be the next one. And you know, and I see now that very little has changed in terms of the turmoil and the noise, unnecessary noise, and dysfunctional behavior, and that saddens me. But you know, we're hoping that, you know, these things happen. And
you mentioned in 2021 that, I mean, on the day of the election, you had to stood down for Thomas Daddy Brahma. What led to that decision?
You know, I think it's open. It's an open secret that I didn't want to step down. I wasn't forced to step down, but I was asked to step down. And I think
by the football family?
No.
Okay.
You know, again, you know, it's best that I don't go into details, but I was asked to step down.
Okay.
A lot of things happened around the time that Gianni Infantino and Patrice Motsepe, the FIFA president and the CAF president, came to Sierra Leone, and you know, a very sad moment that we were not able to entertain and welcome him in the way that we would have loved to, in the way that other countries have done. And when it came to this historical moment where the two most powerful people in the world of football came to Sierra Leone together, we just could not embrace them, and we just could not show them who and what Sierra Leone and Sierra Leoneans were like, whether you're in football or not. Okay. And so I think, you know, at that point, after they left, and I think everybody knows what happened, everybody saw what happened, I think it was time for me to bow out and maybe give peace a chance. You know, and sometimes you know that what you're doing is the right thing. I knew what I was doing was the right thing. And I think everybody at that point had known that I was on the right path, and the right path not for Aisha but for Sierra Leone. But, you know, if it meant that, you know, bringing in another candidate that would sit well for the general good of all would be the answer. That was what I thought would be the best thing to do.
Was that an opportunity missed for Sierra Leone, particularly when the two most powerful, individuals in football came into the country at the period when we had the COVID and all, and like you said earlier, we were unable to give them the kind of reception that they deserve?
Giving them a reception is one thing, but an opportunity missed, I think it was an eye-opener.
Okay.
So, you guys are journalists, so everybody can say what they want to say about a situation, but seeing is believing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So, if you invite someone or people to your country or to your space, and they actually see what it is that was rumored to be the case, or what they had heard was the case, but they couldn't verify, and they actually see a situation, full frontal. I think that was very unfortunate, and that was a very unfortunate time because a lot was happening there, and I don't think it gave a good representation of Sierra Leone, not just Sierra Leone football, Sierra Leone, full stop. So, like I said, in order to give peace a chance for the greater good of all, I thought, well, maybe I've overstayed my welcome. And everything that I had been trying to do and all the fires that I'd been putting out was just not enough. The fires kept burning.
Okay.
The house was burning. So maybe it was time for me to just bow out and let's see. Let's bring in a new face and So.
Do you have any regret looking back on this years? That you were in football since from 2013 until 2021, when we have Thomas Dadi Brahma as the president. Is there anything that you regret during this year?
I regret a lot of things. I regret the fact that lessons have not been learned. That's my biggest regret. What I did, and I think everybody has now come to understand what it is that I stood for and why I stood for what I stood for. Again, I don't do social media, but the things that I'm hearing, the feedback I'm getting, there isn't a day that goes by that my name's not mentioned. For good, bad or ugly, mostly for good, I think. But there isn't a day, so people now realize what my drive, what my fight was all about. It had nothing to do with arrogance. It had nothing to do with self-interest. It had everything to do with the nation, growth and development. And with that, you can't do it without integrity, good governance, and the genuine love for country.
Okay.
So yes, so my regret really is the fact that all the lessons, even before I came into football, being the FA president, the noise, the same people, the fights, it's still the same. So lessons have clearly not been learned.
Have anything changed from your tenure till date now?
Well, look, it depends on what you mean by has anything changed. There's a lot of programs that I signed up for and I put in place that Dadi Brahma has been able to implement, so in that respect, yes. Do we have more pitches? Yes. Do we have, the peripherals that you see?
Yeah.
Yes. Do we have integrity in the game? No. Is there still a lot of squabbling over, poor officiating and all the things, lack of governance, lack of integrity? Do we still have that? Perhaps even more now than even during my 8-year period. Because in my 8-year period, I struggled, but I managed to curb things. But in the past 4 years, it seems like the floodgates opened up. And where we were 8 years back, we just came back to that. So it depends on what you call change. Again, what do you call growth? What is growth for you? To see the glittering, whatever, but underneath, you know, it's still, you're still struggling, you're still sinking, or what, you know? So yes, the peripherals, is there more, you know, women participation in football? Yes, but these are all the things I started, you know, with the Women's Premier League, the WAFU. The girls have been fantastic. They made us proud. They're champions. But it started, and I remember I struggled to get that. I had to fight for that, you know, and we brought it to Sierra Leone in 2020, I think it was, you know, and we held it in Bo under a lot of challenges, but we held it. We are the inaugural holders of the WAFU Women's, WAFU A, and to see, you know, 8 years on, or how many, you know, that we emerge as champions, that's a fantastic, and I have to congratulate Thomas Breimer and the executives under him and the government, because the support they have now, I never had anything close to that. So it's good. And
I mean, before talking about your most memorable day in office, let's talk about the support during your tenure. Football was not playing, and there was confusion here and there between the stakeholders. The teams were they were unwilling to participate, and football was engulfed with so many controversies and all. Do you enjoy your tenure as the president of the SLFA?
No. I just had to program myself to say, I'm on a mission for change. Change doesn't come easy. This is not going to be an easy ride.
And you're anticipating for a dawn of a new era.
And it was a dawn of a new era, absolutely, because, you know, we were in the dark ages of football, and I vowed on that day at Hill Valley that whatever is buried, I am going to unearth it. And you have to agree with me that it is with my era, during my era, that everybody got to understand, and even understand that there's an organization called FIFA, and the relationship FIFA has with federations, and the whole thing about FIFA's role in football, federations, globally, CAF, all of these things, because they followed, and I unearthed that. People just followed their football because they love football, okay? And but the governance side, people didn't understand that, and you had people that understood that, but they deliberately kept people, you know, the masses, you and I, everybody else, in the dark.
Okay.
You know, for their own reasons. So I can't even remember what your question was, but yes, I
was just
don't
asking.
regret.
I mean, during the time that football was engulfed with so many controversies, the game was not playing. What were some of the reasons? I was asking.
Well, it was because of the interference. It was because stakeholders.
Political or stakeholders interference?
Both. Third-party interference.
Okay.
Be it stakeholders, be it political interference, both. And that was very, very, very unfortunate, you know. And now it makes me laugh when I hear everybody, integrity. That's, and you spoke about integrity earlier on.
Yes,
Integrity. And when we introduce that as being the real force, the arm for good governance, you've got to have integrity. You have to bring back integrity into the game. I go talk this pan Creole. Before you call that name the integrity, call somebody mamaba. Igu all that one the better pass if you say integrity. The word integrity was an absolute no. Nobody wanted to hear that word, because, you know, that was what we lacked. And so it really, really was an uphill struggle, one which honestly overwhelmed me, Chris Kamara, and the small, even my exco, it was broken. The stakeholders, of course, you know, there was an offshoot of, I don't know what they called themselves, aggrieved. That's right, the aggrieved. And the Premier League, you know, most of the Premier League clubs, they didn't want to play. We got to play.
And there was an FA Cup organized, the Leo Sim FA Cup.
Yes, so we organized that, and based on that, that's what CAF said, as long as football plays, there's some form of football playing, be it Premier League or not, we will take the FA Cup. And that was how we got into the Confederation. FC Johansson went and played because Eastern Lions backed out, and I think FC Callon. So the first two, they backed out.
I think Axlaf and FC Johansson.
We went.
They went for the
We
competition.
went.
Yes.
So, I mean, looking back on those years, very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. And my fear and my sadness is that I see something similar happening now, you know, and I hope to God that some kind of sanity can come into football, and we can really start to put country first instead of
Individuals.
Individual and personal.
All right, so now let's discuss what was your most memorable day, I mean, during your tenure as the president of the SLFA?
Gosh, it depends on whether it's good or bad. I had lots of bad days.
I think let's talk about the good days first. I want to start on bad days.
The most memorable day as a SLFA, I think, yes. I know one that I'll never forget was when we were playing the CAF, I don't know which one was that AFCON? I think it was AFCON qualifiers, and we played against Nigeria and Sierra Leone playing Nigeria in Nigeria, and we were 4-0 down.
Oh, yes.
And
we were dead and buried.
everybody was going home. I think social media was like, hey, but what do you expect? It's only, everyone had something to say, and then 4-1, and then 4-2, and then 4-3, and then we equalized. And we were running down, and we were heading for the fifth goal. It was a clear one, heading. And the
Were you part of that match in Nigeria?
Sorry?
We were in Nigeria for that match.
Of course. I was there, and I remember the halftime when we were halftime. I think we were 4-1. Was it
4-1 at halftime? Yes, 4-1.
When they went into, I remember saying to
Kwame
them,
scored the goal late within the end of the
I
first
remember
half.
saying to them in one point, it's either you go home or I go home alone. But me and Una not reach na salon together alone. If not disgrace with us, so now one person go left now.
That was your message to them.
Yes, to them, and it's not going to be
in the
me.
dressing room.
Yes, I said not to me. Go left now. Now I go left now. So I didn't be to that. Now I go left now. But I remember, and they came, and it was just amazing. We lost our minds there. It was incredible. You can imagine sitting around senators, and my good friend Amaju Pinnick, the president of the FA. He didn't know where to look. You know, the poor guy was just, and the referee just blew the whistle because, like I said, I can't remember which play it was. Now Rondong now, ready for the fifth goal for beats them, and he blew the whistle. Right, and it was the end. And I remember when we were coming back home at the airport, the customs officers, everybody there, they say, I beg, why did you not give us this fifth goal? Go and beat them. When they come to your country, beat them, give them 5-0. It was an amazing time. CNN was covering it. Everybody, it was.
There was a message from your friend Amaju Pinnick saying that, of course, disrespecting Sierra Leone, saying that, I mean, a team from nowhere. Was there any response from you? I'm sure you had that message.
No. Again, like I said, because I'm not on social media, I didn't hear. Nobody told me.
Okay.
It was like 2 days after that I saw that. And I called him. I'm like, bro, I said, you're lucky that we didn't even give you that fifth one. It's because we not give you the fifth one. That make you're talking. But, I mean, listen, Amaju, he's an amazing guy. He's a great friend and a brother. He was very emotional. And of course, people who know Nigerians, that's it. They're very passionate about their football. They're very passionate about their country. And that was really hard to look. I feel that way when I see countries with less than 1 million people qualifying for the African nations. And we've got 8 million football worshippers, and we can't qualify.
Okay.
When I see countries with 1 million, 2 million, most of them don't. And we have people, we have a country where, after God, it is the football. and we just can't get anywhere. We can't get it right. So in many ways, I can understand. So those words that he used, I may not say it out, but I certainly feel that way, that what is it that these countries are doing right that we can't do right? You know, and we're supposed to be the worshippers of football after God, with 8 million people as against 750,000 people or 800,000, but they can qualify. So I'm not, so I understand how he was feeling, because I've been feeling the same.
All right. Just before we go for a quick break, let's talk about FC UNC, a team that, of course, was founded by you for young players, and it's a team that have produced amazing players. Let's discuss a little bit about FC. How did you, of course, come into time to found a club like FC UNC for young players, organizing a youth football competition, one of the best this country has ever organized, bringing in countries from all over the world, from Europe, South America, and other parts of the world as well, and it was very colorful. Let's talk about that shortly.
FC Johansen will be the pride of my life, you know. It was at a time when I'd just come to Sierra Leone.
Which year was that?
Oh gosh, that was 2002.
Okay.
Around 2002, 2003.
Okay.
So I was engaged in a few humanitarian stuff. So I had a charity for breast cancer awareness, and you know, I brought in some mammograms and ultrasound. I was doing that quietly. And football has always been a passion for me, but because I did other things like the magazine, Rapture magazine, and other things that I did, that kind of overshadowed. So my love for football, you know, and my interest in football was downplayed. And there were just these kids that used to play very close to where the house was, and this was just after the war, and Sierra Leone was trying to rebuild itself, and these kids would be playing at Hill Station on turf, you know, grainy place with rocks and everything.
Okay.
And they thought I was an American woman. I mean, not even no side and feel Sammy from what, but anyway, they thought I was from somewhere else other than here. And so one day then come, then writes letter. You know how then can do the letters, please ma'am, can you do this? And so the story goes on, and you know, I said, okay, listen, you kids need to be in school, because I would see them at 9 o'clock at night playing. I would see them at 7 o'clock in the morning playing, non-stop. And I didn't see a house. You know, I mean, these kids were on the street. They obviously had guardians of sorts, but they weren't controlled. So to cut a long story short, I entered into an agreement that if you do the school, I will do this football. And I told them, I said, this sport's the way you play, so I like I'm bad. I like this. This is my sport. And so they thought I was, you know, this. I said, so if you go to school, I will do the sports with you. That's how I will compensate you.
Okay.
So they agreed, and I put them in school. I made sure they went to school. I would even go to the school and try and sit at the back just to make sure they're in school.
In class, yeah.
And I needed to see their attendance just to keep them off the streets, you know. So that's how we did it. And some of them were quite good and clever. They wanted to learn. Most of them, no interest whatsoever. But for me, the most important thing, keep them off the streets and stay in school. And then after, we could do the football. That's when I came in, and they had the pitch, and then we call them, I say, go find name of the club. They said FC Johansen. I said, no, go find club name. They came back, FC Johansen. I said, if you can one more time to me with FC Johansen. Hey, mommy, we don't look. I said, what's the name? FC Johansen. So obviously I had to give in.
Okay.
So that's how it was. And then I entered them into community programs. They were, and I remember I went to Coca-Cola. I said, could you sponsor? Can you give us water? Can you give us Coke? And they did that. And we did community teams. They put them together.
Okay.
You know, and I engaged them, but the education, because I told them, not everybody will be a Ronaldo, a Beckham, or anything like that, you know, some of you. And it was just so it was just having somebody, I was their mother. And they called me mum, and they called their mothers by their first name. Okay. So everybody called me mum, and then mama now automatically became their sisters, or big sister, or auntie. You don't know which name you call them. But the mum transferred to me. So that's what I did, and I invested all my time. And it's an incredible story, one which I've had offers for it to be a Netflix story. and one which will be in the book that I'm working on.
Okay.
An incredible story from, you know, from nothing to everything, really, and taking the boys out. My ex-husband was also the consul for Norway and Sweden, and some Swedish guy came to see him for something or the other and said, I hear there's, you know, there's a football club named after you. And he says, yes, that's my wife's, and that's one thing led to another. He says, why don't you enroll to come? We do international tournaments.
Wow.
And he says, you know, I hear that this team is doing a good job, you know, they're good, but we were just a community, your youth club. And so he said, I hear they're doing this, why don't you come? And so, you know, again, to fast forward it, that was a time when Sierra Leone wasn't allowed anymore. They didn't give us any visas because every time athletes went out of the country, they ran away. Every time footballers went out of the country, they ran away. They didn't come back. So we were not.
Okay.
And so anyway, FC Johansen went. We got the visas. We were silver medalists.
So the competition in Spain?
In Sweden.
Oh, okay.
In Sweden. Once we got there, and not only did we do well, they were awarded, you know, discipline and everything. And I remember, and one thing I have to mention is, when these boys were going, Slaffa, I didn't know anything about Slaffa. I didn't even know who the president was.
Wow.
But we, you know, we went, so I camped them in the Slaffa hostel, which was derelict. So I got an electrician to bring in light. We fixed the taps, we got water in, we got beds in, I got a matron in, we fixed the kitchen. So, you know, I wanted to teach these kids manners, how to sit at a table. I taught them how to use a fork and knife.
Wow.
I taught them how to use a toilet, flush toilet, because again, the vast majority, they didn't have that. Because my message to them was, when you get to Europe, I want people to stare at you, these African boys, because you are so super talented.
Okay.
I don't want them to stare at you because you don't know what a fork is and what a knife is. I don't want them to stare at you because you don't know what to do with yourself. And so we went, silver medalists, they called us again, gold medalists, and then Real Madrid called us, and then we went to Real Madrid, then Bitwibado Yanda. But anyway, that was where we met Zidane, you know, and it goes on and on. We were invited to the Vegas Cup, you know, and then our story, and then of course we went, the big one was when we went to the Swiss Cup. And that was when I first made contact with FIFA.
Okay.
And because they were writing about us, we were an invitational team. And you had Manchester City, you had Liverpool, you had Stuttgart, you had Bayern Munich, you had all the big clubs, the youth side. And George Kwaku Davis was just an absolute star. And I have to share this story with you. I was there, Manchester City was looking at our team, Liverpool was there. And I remember that day when the Liverpool coaches, they picked up the phone and they called England to the chief youth coach of Liverpool. And they said to him, you've got to get onto the next flight. The next flight, get onto that, come here. You've got to see this to believe it. We can't put this in words, you've got to come here to believe that. That was George Kwaku Davis.
Okay.
And a lot of these stars and Sterling and all these players, they were there, right? And they said, you've got to come. And he jumped on that flight to come. And we beat Liverpool.
Wow.
The only team I think beat us, or we drew, I think the beat us was Man City, but we played against Man City. So Man City came, Stuttgart came, all these clubs, and you know, Chelsea, all. And me, I was a novice. I wish, what I know now, I wish I knew it then. I wouldn't even, I'd be charging you to give me this interview. I would not even be accessible.
Yeah.
I wish I knew. So they were running after this one boy, George Kwaku Davis, Kwame. They wanted Kwame in Liverpool like crazy. And Jojo Ishmael, yes, Ishmael.
Yeah.
They liked him very much. So those are our three players. And I'll be very honest, Liverpool were not as crazy for George Davis as Man City and Chelsea were. And because I'm a Chelsea supporter, I didn't care. I just wanted Kweku to go to that Chelsea and stay there. And I was going to live there with him. But he ended up with Man City. So it's a great time. And the rest is history. We did well. John Kister was our coach. John was fantastic. He introduced a new system altogether that people hadn't seen here in terms of coaching and ethics. And we did extremely well, and a team that everybody wanted to be. But you know, politics. And when I became FA president, I took my eye off the ball. I couldn't afford to have my eye on the ball with FC Johansson, and that's the honest truth. My son was still studying in England, and the politics crept in, so I couldn't pay attention to my club. So it started going, and the boys were begging me, "Mum, please come back. Mum, please come back." I couldn't, and that was the beginning of the end. And you know, and it's a sad story. So FC Johansson is not the team it was, but I can tell you today, this interview, that it's just a matter of time. Things are going to change, because I know a lot more now than ever. I've grown into the game. I know what to prioritize and what not to. I know when to let go of a certain situation.
Okay.
And these are the decisions that I'll be making together with my son, who's the CEO, very soon. But FC Johansson is going to definitely come back stronger, maybe with a different angle, but definitely we're coming back. It's unfortunate. There's a lot of bad officiating, a lot of bad things that went on against FC Johansson. I'm not making excuses, but everybody knows what they did to us. Unfortunate, but we will pick up.
Thank you very much. We're going for a very short break. She is Madam Aisha Yuansi, a football administrator. We're going for a short break and we'll be right back shortly.
The agent question. Young lady, now to say orange money they take just 1% for cash out?
Yes, sir. Now just 1% will be cut for any cash out we do.
So if I cash out 1,000, I only tell you so the cut say?
Yes. Now just tell you, no more we go cut.
If I won't cash out 200, now only 2 million go cut?
Yes, Mama, we go just cut 2 million.
So wait, so if I cash out 100 million, I only 1 million in the cut?
Yes, and I just 1 million, no more we go cut.
This one too fine for believe. I don't want to see this kind of cheap thing in my life.
1% is a small money for big benefit. This is not the best offer ever. Orange money, don't do it for me.
Now, cash out for only 1% of the amount with the widest agent network, na Salone. Now the cheapest cash out fee, no more stress, no more high fees, just easy transaction. Orange money, they any outside you go.
Now let's talk about Babadi Kamara, an individual who's transformed Bo Rangers and also, built a stadium in Bo and all. Have you had, an encounter with him? And he's also one of the aspirants going for the same presidency position of the SLFA. What do you think about him as well?
I think Babadi has done a phenomenal job in terms of football development and putting structures. I really do, and that comes from the bottom of my heart. You know, I will talk and respond to things that I can see, and not what people think or believe, but what we can actually touch and see, especially in football. all right? He may be a businessman, as Aminata is, but it's the time, the effort that he's put into football development that I look at, I applaud, I appreciate, as many will do. And, you know, looking from the outside in, so take me away. And CAF to come in and put the money in, but you know, these are the kind of things that I did. I didn't wait for a FIFA or CAF. I built on FC Johansson, you know, and I found myself being the FA president. Okay. Again, like what I said, you.
Check, friends are saying, Kelly, this is a tough journey. Make your mama proud, cause this is a game of no returning. Know that I'ma make it, let me give it guy. You don't preach on so let them lock your coffin. Flows go damage man career and make it smell a rotten. How I do am I look me kind of the purpose. I'm off the chain, prison break, lock the board at them. Guessing me today, kill wait to God at them. Killing in the capital, shit is
how away the angry lion lose. Flow go like a Davita or ginger beer juice. Cast them boss, they no go function. Some rapper now get used. The game need a saving, well I come like a prophecy.
Mass break, pressing me, I cut the chain. Make a wire panic and the other rappers them for fed. But let me muku padresi, the post say na sell. One day they party beats for half for doa. In a boss small, why it's called rest the money in order. And that is cup all. And then I pull it, party me, I pull it, but that you dog mutts. No, they talk to me like anyhow. If you test back, I just slaughter you like any cow. Now you want it.
If you're just tuning in, you still watch we on the Today Show right here on the Sleek TV channel 37, and we still talk to Madam Aisha Yuansi, first-time president of the Sierra Leone Football Association and also the first ever FIFA Council member. Of course, we don't come out Nasalone. Well, we still continue the conversation. Over to you again, Madam Yuansi. We've discussed a lot about, of course, controversies, your best moments, and a lot of other things as well. Now let's come to the real story behind the pitches. I was at a press conference that you called us a few years back at Bintu Mani Hotel, in which you announced that these pitches will be, there's a project being funded, fully funded by FIFA for the construction of pitches at Academy, Approved School, Boko, Nation Field, Potloko Field, among many. So let's get the real story behind the pitches. How we are able to convince FIFA to approve the project, and just what the public need to know about this one.
Well, look, it's a shame that there should be controversy or even any question about how and when this particular project or these projects were approved, because like you said, you were there in the press conference. So, you know, we've got the FIFA Forward Plan, which started off first with, you know, a few $1 million, $5 million, and now, of course, it increases. And so I prioritized pitches across the country. And like you just said, you know, Lunge, I wanted Lunge in particular because I thought that would be the start of using football to encourage tourism. So our country, that if we've got some hotels there and we have a pitch, we could actually have some countries coming in and use Sierra Leone as a retreat or a resort. You know, I mean, the countries like Algeria, Tunisia, Seychelles, countries like that, small countries could come to Sierra Leone. There are beaches there, and we could start using football to promote tourism. But of course, I you know, they didn't take it to Lunge. But yes, I did have those, and it was confirmed by FIFA. But of course, obviously, I left. I stepped down before. So all of these.
So before you even stepping down, these projects were already approved.
They were
fully
approved.
funded.
Yes, of course, it was approved, which was going to be fully funded.
Okay.
That was the FIFA Forward Plan, you know, and this came just after the pitch that I also had facilitated in Kenema, which was a state-of-the-art one. And even though we were set aside, FIFA waited until I was cleared before they could release that. You know, I know that there were attempts to have the pitch laid out, and FIFA would not allow it because they would not bring in you know, the people that were going to lay out the turf. So, look, you know, I mean, again, it's a shame that I have to clear this because I don't understand why there's any doubt or controversy. Everybody, the FA knew about it. If you are following football, like you and everybody else, it was there, it was laid out, and it was approved. And also, even with the technical center, we wanted to build, we were looking at a women's technical center, and we'd actually even got the land by Kingdom for that. And so that was in the pipeline as well.
Was that also part of the project?
That was going to be one of the projects as well. Right. You know, so there was a lot of developmental, look, you know, it was a very difficult time for me. Like you and everybody else knows, I spent a lot of time putting out fires, and every time that I would have a small window opportunity to breathe, we dived into work and progress and development, and then they'll step on us and then we'll come down, and every time we came up again to breathe, we would go dive again into development. So yes, to answer your questions, that was my projects.
You count that under your legacy, the speeches?
It's the country's, you know, I mean, it's for the country. Well, my legacy, well, it was under my tenure. And yes, it was approved under me. I proposed it myself together with my EXCO members. We talked about it. We talked about which region, which province would have what. And then, you know, I mean, I even had plans to have a beach soccer department.
Okay.
Because again, I look at so many things that we can promote for the country through football. Football is so powerful. It's not just the 90 minutes on the pitch.
Okay.
It's all the other things that football can bring. So beach soccer, and we've got beaches. I mean, if Seychelles Seychelles can go up and bid and win it, why can't we in Sierra Leone? Okay, we may not have as many hotels, but we have hotels, and we've got beaches second to none. Why can't we do that? You know, so these were all the projects that I was pushing. Even football for schools, the FIFA football for schools. Sierra Leone was going to be the pilot project. It was going to start with that, you know, and what's his name, Baron, was working for FIFA then. And it was in that very week that they sent me back again to the anti-corruption. And so then everything went back again. So they gave it to another country. So these are the kind of things, the setbacks. But look, there's still hope. These are all in the past. Very, very unfortunate incidents that has happened in football that has set us back many, many years. It set us backwards. My hope is that lessons have been learned.
Okay.
And that we don't keep on repeating the same mistakes
that we made. So now let's talk about the elections that will be held on Saturday. Currently, there is a female candidate being cleared by CAS to contest in that election. What do you feel about that one as well? The second female candidate to have contested for that position. Of course, you were the first to being elected, and now we have another female candidate that have also been cleared by CAS, despite being disqualified by the ethics board, and also we saw the court ruling dismissing the case, and now CAS have overturned the decision. Let me get your take about what do you think about Madam Aminata Bangura. Have you had a word with her?
I don't know her. I don't know her that well.
Okay.
But the little that I know Aminata, I have tremendous respect for her in the capacity in which I know her. I don't know Aminata in the capacity of a football administrator.
Okay.
I'll be very honest with you. Okay.
But you've known her before?
I met her. I met her maybe about 2 years ago.
Okay.
Or so, and she struck me. She's a very pleasant, very respectful, and very determined young woman. And I like that in a woman. I am not the kind of woman that will support a woman just because she's a woman.
Based on gender?
Never, never. So,
Okay.
so if that makes me a bad gender, or whatever, sorry to the gender
So
activists.
there should be something to prove.
You must be in it to win it, and
Okay.
you must have substance.
All right.
Okay?
Okay.
So because the worst thing that can happen, listen, when men fail, it's acceptable. It's the norm. Man, then you mess up. You understand all the time.
Yeah.
When a woman fails or she messes up, we all fail. Then everybody turns to us, say, "Enti now for this, enti now go side man then there." They lash out on us when a woman fails. So that is why I'm very selective as to how I embrace women who want to break barriers. It has to come from a genuine place.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm not saying that Aminata's not coming from that genuine place. I know she's very determined, and I've asked her on 1 or 2 occasions, "Why are you in this?" And she says she wants to make a change. Now, whether she has sufficient background, knowledge, know-how, as a football administrator to make that change, okay? Whether she's got the strength, and again, like I said, the know-how, because I didn't have the know-how.
And the
but
backing as well.
I was in football.
Okay.
Okay, and when I came in, it was a whole new ball
A game dominated by male.
Not only that, it was a whole new play, completely. So, you know, I wish her all the best. And, you know, she has a lot of respect, and it's reciprocal. You know, the respect that we share for each other.
Okay.
She has chosen to take on this path, and win or lose, she's going to do it. And kudos to her for that. You know, but when you say, what is your take? What more can I say, really?
I know it will be difficult for you to, publicly endorse any candidate. Are you interested in this election?
Very much so.
How? If I may
Why?
ask?
When you say how, I'll tell you why,
Okay,
not
why?
how,
Okay.
because I have no parts to play.
Okay.
I'll tell you why, because I want genuine growth for my country.
Okay.
I started something, and somebody needs to finish it. I can't finish everything.
Yeah.
I started. Now everybody is talking about integrity of the game. This, Again, I'll go back to what I was saying to you. When you see countries with less than 1 million people, right, growing, qualifying, doing well in football, you know, developing, You need to ask yourself, Sierra Leone, you know, what is wrong with us?
Okay.
Are they that better? No.
No.
It's governance, it's integrity, it's discipline, it's structures. What is so hard for Sierra Leone to just adopt those 4 things and
Okay.
stick by it? Why must we go and get political interference, stakeholders who are there just for their own, at the risk and the detriment of the youth, of the country, of our future? We've got to stop this.
Okay.
Enough is enough. Me, Akam, I met this saga. I dealt with this saga. I left this saga. The saga's still there. We're going into elections in the next 48 hours. And, you know, we need to know when to say stop and let us think about our country.
Let's talk about the independence of the ethics board. We've seen now twice decision by the ethics board being overturned by CAS, which begs a question out there as to how this ethics board, do their work and all, because twice now we've seen their decision overturned. It started with Rodney Michael. He was disqualified, and later CAS overturned that decision. And now we have Aminata Bangura as well. She was disqualified, and also we saw that decision overturned. So how does this work? You've been there, you've never been disqualified, but how does this work? You've been the president for the Sierra Leone Football Association for 2 terms, and you'll be in a better place to explain to the public as to how this works.
You know, one's got to be careful when you answer questions like that. I think there's a difference between being culpable, guilty, and being let off on technicalities. Okay?
Yeah.
You have situations where, you know, you could be as guilty as sin, but you get off on technicalities. Now, I'll be very honest, I haven't been following it in details. And even if I was, I don't think that I have the legal knowledge to make a statement, a public statement, you know, on the rulings and to qualify whether the ethics committee, most of them are legal professionals, as to whether they did their job rightly or wrongly. What I do know is that somebody can be guilty, but technicalities, if you've got a very clever lawyer, which I suspect the CAS lawyers are, very clever, you can get off on technicalities. The Rodney Michael case that you're referring to, if my memory serves me right, I think there were technicalities involved there. Whether it was on date, timing, submission, what have you.
Those technicalities.
It was that. You understand? And again, that is Mr. Drusel Taylor and, you know, the ethics people and all of them. Again, I'm very, very mindful as to how I delve into it. But just bear in mind, and I think every lawyer will agree with me, you know, the case is the case, culpability and technicalities are 2 different things. You've got a really clever lawyer, they'll get you off.
To interpret this one. So now, yes, let's talk about 5 years ago, over 4 to 5 years ago, you made a very bold decision to step down and endorse Thomas Dadi Brahima, who has now been disqualified and also banned from all football-related activities for a period of 1 year by the ethics board. Is not going to contest in the election as an incumbent, and now also been banned from football. How do you describe your relationship with the outgoing president of the Sierra Leone Football Association? And do you by any chance regret making that decision to endorse him to serve as the SLFA president?
My relationship with Thomas, it could have been better. But in retrospect, I didn't know this man at all, you know. So I'd never met him, never heard of him. But again, that was a compromise.
Before the election?
I never met him before the elections. I've never heard of him ever before. But 3 of my EXCO members brought him to me because I had to make a decision.
Okay.
I had to make a decision, and I was going to step down. And like I said, I had to make a decision whereby it would be for the greater good of the football family and the country,
Okay.
by extension. And so they brought him to me. So look, to say that I regret the fact that it's ended this way. You know, he's never been...
ended this way for him?
Yes.
Okay.
And in football.
Okay.
You know, because he's never, ever been impolite, disrespectful to me. What he may or may not have done or failed to do is another thing altogether. He was advised, in my opinion, wrongly. Or maybe he thought he was doing the right thing, and maybe till today he believes he was doing the right thing, but clearly, you know, with what we see now, it didn't go down well. So it's very unfortunate because deep down I do believe that he wanted to do good. He loved football, and the thing with us football lovers, whether you're black, white, pink or blue, whether you're a criminal, you're a saint, you're an angel, that love of football is something that we will always have, okay? We come together for that. So his love of football is just like mine and what have you. So I regret what has happened. I can't remember what it is that you asked, the second one with regards to him. That
I mean, being banned and disqualified.
it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. You know, again, he's a one-term president. I'm sure that there were things that he really wanted to do and possibly could have done, you know, with the help of his team, his EXCO members. He clearly didn't have that much of support, but it's really, and I'm sure maybe he regrets some things that maybe he could have done. But we'll see, and I really do wish him all the very best. I really do, you know, as I have moved on, but you still love. And I hope that the SLFA will continue to embrace him and give him that recognition and extend to him the respect and the love that I think every past president should get. You know, whether he got 100% mark or 80% or 20%. Once upon a time, he led Sierra Leone, you know, football. So I wish him all the very best. I really do, and I hope the football family can come together, and we can all embrace each other, support each other, and move forward.
All right. We don't have enough time left, but let's talk about. I mean, during your tenure, the Leone Stars, you were in control. I mean, what are some of the memorable moments that you had with the national team, Leone Stars? Do you have that kind of support from government?
No. I had zero support. As you all know, you guys that follow my relationship with regards to government support for the national team, participation was very, very limited. And, you know, there was a time under the Paul Camara era that I had zero support, zero, and I mean zero. And Leo Sem supported at times with the national team.
Wow.
That was my ex-husband's, where he was managed, they supported. And I think towards the latter end, under Yelenke, maybe one or two before I stepped down, but the kind of massive input, financial input and support that Thomas Brymer has received from the government is amazing.
In 4 years?
Well,
compared to your 8 years?
Well, I didn't even think
Did he receive more in 4 years than you in 8 years?
Well, you know, I think ever in the history of Sierra Leone, football for that matter, has Sierra Leone received this kind of financial support. And that's the way it should be, actually. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. That's the way it should be. It didn't happen in my time. If I'd gotten that kind of support, I would have done some amazing things if I was given the leeway, but I wasn't. Thomas had it, and he did what he could, you know, and again, back to who is coming in next will hopefully benefit, you know, the financial and the goodwill from the government, because let me just say this before we end. No matter how good a football administrator you are, and the FA president, if you don't have your government supporting you, okay, you're in trouble. Because
does that not create room for the third party interference? Because the government is putting.
That's what I'm saying, and that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
But the government must. There are two things: overseeing football and managing football.
Okay.
Are two different things. Okay. The SLFA, the federation, they manage, they run the day to day.
Basically, not happening now. During your tenure, you were fully in charge of the Leon Stars executing, but now it's more like the Leon Stars being managed.
Well, I was fully executing because.
And you were a female, but you were succeeding in doing that.
And I also took control of the finance, and the finance came from FIFA and CAF.
Okay.
I didn't get any from the government. Okay, so that's why I was able to answer to FIFA. But the point I'm trying to make is, for it to work, there has to be this close relationship and understanding and respect between the government and the Football Association. And whether you agree to disagree, and vice versa. But for the sake, again, for the betterment of all, that is something that I think that whoever wins in the next 48 hours will have to bear that in mind, that your government and yourselves, have got to be in sync for there to be harmony and growth.
The football family decides their next leadership in the next 48 hours. What will be your message to the football family, particularly at a time like this, in which it's more likely that the football family is divided? There is politics now involved in our game and all. What will be your message to the football family?
That without peace, there's no stability. Without stability, there is no growth.
Okay.
Give peace a chance. Let it go. Whoever wins, you rally the support, because again and again, it's not about you, it's not about me, it's not about your cousin, it's not about your grandfather who you want to send to Mecca with. It's about the greater good of all. It's the nation that it's about. So, we disagree to agree. We will fight till the last minute. Once that bell, we count the votes and there's a winner. Everybody's got to come together to support each other and embrace the winner for the good of, because listen, there's so much ahead of us. We see women's football, the growth, why are we lagging behind? Youth football, why are we lagging behind? Every other thing for football, why are we lagging? Why? Because we're not together. Okay, so that would be my own.
I'm tempted to ask this question. What should we expect from you next? What will be your next move? Are we expecting you back to come into, football? I'm not talking about locally, maybe internationally, or is that all for Madam Aisha Yuansi? Because you're still very much young to continue in football.
I've got some very interesting plans that I'm working on. Lecturing and speaking is something that I want to engage. I was I spoke at the House of Lords about a month ago, and just on the day my mother died, or the day before, I was given an award, and at the House of Lords, and they picked a Black Achievers Award. So when I return, I shall pick it up in the House of Parliament. So and I'm really, really looking forward again to putting Sierra Leone on the map for the right reasons. Every other week or day or something, we're on the global map for the wrong reasons, and it's getting boring now. Honestly, we need to turn a new page, and we need to start doing. So I'm working on a book. I'm working on other things that I'd like to keep close, on bigger, higher platforms. So, and it's all to do with governance and integrity, and I'm really looking forward to the future.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
And good luck to we all for the elections, or else you won't have any more interviews to do for football.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much.
She's Madam Aisha Yuansi, a female football administrator, the first ever female football president in Sierra Leone, and the first ever Sierra Leonean to have attained the seat of a FIFA Council member. Well, that's all we have time for in today's edition of the Today Show. Stay tuned to Sleek TV. We'll join the rest of the team. We will bring you the other exciting segments then inside the program. Till next time, I will join you back. Have a wonderful day. I'm Reginald Brian Ojukutu Soya signing out.
Man them. This na boys. Usaiman and they put all thing at table from Pantap to good inside boys. We know they hide behind with shadow at all. We real and this them na all but we.
Every woman first, let me start that, always they look for a successful man. So likewise, majority of the men also they look for successful woman.
We can't talk about we hustle and we dey fair money.
When you like somebody, you first of all get for take care of whatever you like. Make them a priority.
We relationship and waiting people they expect from we man them.
You know, women are more emotional than men. If you start them, where you enjoy them, you go they come.
This not a side where we just they can't talk. This na brotherhood. Na side for let you see and feel waiting they really mean for B-boy picky.
Sex is intimacy.
This na boys. So come na the bar, grab a chair, buy a drink, let we talk, chill and vibe. Cause this na boys. We side where they shake the table.
You're here with Rabiatu Mansai in the studio. Thank you very much, Reginald Brian Ojukutu Soya, with that exclusive interview there with Madam Aisha Johansen. Now let's move a little bit from sports and join Paulina Bendo Samba for Gurisom Well Body Tip.
And welcome to Today Health Tips. Special hello to my sister we get belle. This belle na one special journey, and the best way for take care of yourself and the pikin na for take care of your body well one. So let I tell you small tip we go help you. First, eat better one. Your body dey grow pikin, so it need good food. Try for the eat plenty fruits and vegetable, rice or oats, or even fish. And try for the take belle tablets them we get folic acid and iron. And not forget for the drink boku water. Water go help you for let you know the tire quick, for let you know the swell, and it go also help the pikin back. The next one, try for the move small. You can do small walk or gentle exercise or for stretch the body. This go help you for let you know stress. It go help the blood for flow fine one, and it go make the belly not too heavy. But always ask your doctor first before you start any new thing. try for the take boku rest. Your body dey do big work inside, even if you no dey see am. So, try for the sleep by your side, especially when the belle don big, for help the blood and the pikin. Last one, look after your mind. Belle can bring plenty thing inside the mind. If you dey feel bad or worry, talk to person. Write small inside book or join group wey get other woman dem. The way you dey feel inside also important like the way your body dey feel. But remember say, the most important thing na that you for listen to your body and your doctor, and then you go able for do am.
Thank you very much, Paulina, for the health tip there. And also going to help so many pregnant women them. And now Mohammed Toby is here to take us through the sports world. I mean, as it stands, a lot going to unfold in the sporting field. And but I want to come up from Toby. Welcome, Toby.
It's always a pleasure for the Night Today show. That's how I welcome you to the sports segment. We basically we turn our attention and look at the most anticipated football election. Membership would decide, arguably maybe in the next 24 hours, whether I would take the mantle of leadership, the Football Association for the next 4 years. Now, we'll bring to you 3 candidates. We all know, say, Thomas Daddy Brahma, he's no more part of the race, despite we see the electoral committee don't decide for waive all petitions. But in as much as Daddy Brahma was disqualified by the ethics board, so all the petitions don't be waived. The reason why they waive some of these petitions. Now, with regards the Carina District Football Association, we understand the outgoing executive been say they're not still they're not the helm of affairs, and with the delegate list will come out, the outgoing chairman now they named as delegate for Carina District. I'll bring to you that Thomas Daddy Brahma is no longer part of the race. This is Umaru Ba. Why would they bring them back to Una no say these are the people that would stand? So he's a qualified candidate. They go for a presidential position against Babadi Kamara and Madam Aminata Bangura. We as well don't be cleared by CAS. This is Babadi Kamara and this is Madam Aminata Bangura. So arguably we get 3 good Sierra Leoneans where gets the ambition for take football to the next level. But you also therefore ask yourself a critical question. What are the benchmarks where some of these candidates they bring, say, okay, this is A, B, and C that I've done for develop football in the country. For a person like Babadi, you might say he gets, he don't try to transform Ball Rangers as a football club. He don't build a clubhouse, and as well he don't build a 6,000 stadium. But you also look at Omar Ba as well. He's the chairman for Real Republicans. He owns a female club, and also he gets a 2nd division club. And he's currently the team manager for the senior national team. So we get good candidates, good individuals where one of these 3 will take the leader of the mantleship of leadership for the next 4 years. But critically, we always going to see drama at the end of SLFA elections. We see how Thomas Daddy Brahma was elected. An unknown name become president. We might be heading for that. That is the big question will be decided by only 57 people tomorrow Nalunge. But the delegate list is out in as much as this don't throw a lot of debate all of social media, particularly big sports group. So this is a delegate list now. Well, arguably we control would definitely start with the first one. So you can see, so that only 57 people get the eligibility for votes in this year's SLFA elections. So now, if you look at the names, Ball Rangers, they be represented by Abubakar
I think we control go try for bring Bobo Rangers, they be represented by Abubakar Bangura, and for FC Kala on his Tunde Scott, Almami Kamara from Eastern Lions, Rodney Michael from Mighty Blackpool. You get Peter Saplima Mansari from Wilberforce Strikers, Abubakar Karim from Port Authority. The list goes on and on and on. But there is, again, if you look at the end parts of this delegate list, you find out, say, the electoral bodies say all of these candidates, if you're not a candidate with them, you don't fine, you for pay a fine. If you not pay the fine before the end of business hour today, it means, say, you not get the eligibility for vote. So it means, in as much as you're part of the 57 people, they're still here for be vetted and look at, say, okay, you don't get fined, we don't fine you ahead of this Congress, but if you get to fine people like Taplima, they represent Wilberforce Strikers, and Wilberforce Strikers and I club will pay 35,000 new Leons, where 35 million old Leons, because in one of the possible way, we get the high number of petitions. So it's going to be historic tomorrow. Nalunge, we just get from Maramasha, you haven't seen an exclusive interview. Somebody where don't lead football for 8 years in a male-dominated arena. And one of the key messages yesterday, sorry, Tidena, that he wants to see good for this country. He wants to see USA in stop when Daddy Brahma come. And he also makes some clarification with regards to the infrastructural development with the artificial turf. So this is the make or break of football. But again, we should always take this into consideration. I'm speaking directly to the delegates. Una 8 million or plus people rely on Una. I don't want to be emotional. 8 million people rely on Una for transform football. Vote your conscience. Vote for develop football in this country. We get country like Comoros, 800,000 people. Then they go for Nations Cup after every 2 years. You get nation like Cape Verde. We get more population than Cape Verde. But in terms of African football, they are far ahead of us. Not sell you vote. For 4 years, you will be kept silent because you know for talk, you vote, not buy you, not sell you, sell them. Vote your conscience, vote for football development, and let's see who will take over Thomas Daddy Bremer for the next 4 years.
Thank you, Toby. We talk say no sell you vote. Let me just rub out this small and pull parable say no sell you birthright for Kokoyebe. But also bore the words of the president himself, may the best man win. Thank you very much there. From there now we go to we travel schedule for tomorrow. I mean, so man any kind we get for sit down inside board belly and quick one. Starting with the Sea Coach boat service, there is a Brighton early departure at 5 a.m. Aska Airlines flights KP023 will depart from Banjul, making stops in Freetown at 8:05 a.m. Accra and finally arriving in Lomé at 8:45 a.m. Next stop at 8:30 a.m. Aska Airlines flight KP043 will take off from Freetown and head to Lomé, arriving at 9:10 a.m. In the afternoon at 1 p.m., Aska Airlines flight KP022 will depart from Lomé, stop in Freetown at 4 p.m. and arrive in Banjul at 4:45 p.m. At 4:05 p.m., another Aska Airlines flight will leave Lomé and head to Accra and then to Freetown. Also in the afternoon at 4 p.m., Air Senegal flight HC213/4 is scheduled to leave Dakar, arriving in Banjul at 6:55 p.m. and Freetown at 7:50 p.m. For those traveling overnight, at 9:30 p.m., Turkish Airlines flight TK533/4 will depart from Istanbul with a stop in Ouagadougou before arriving in Freetown at 1:10 a.m. and continuing back to Istanbul at 2:10 a.m. That's all we have for our flight schedule, and we'll move a bit from there and take some, like I say, most times you can hear someone say, work on a day. So now we'll take vacancy, and these thoughts come out from Munafa Foundation. Also then say, then they actually look for a field officer, and the activity in social microfinance, and if you also send, you decide for this particular work as on a free tongue and water loan, and the salary, they say competitive the context, and say a sustainable society with socio-economic inclusion, entrepreneurial excellence, and zero poverty. Within then say they look for. And the responsibility basically for this kind of work, then say under direct supervision of the branch manager, the field officer go set up monitoring and leading Munafa groups and individually follow up on beneficiaries and also implement the socio-economic service for beneficiary. So the specific function then for set up, monitor and lead Munafa group and individual follow up of beneficiary. They say also manage socio-economic social services for beneficiaries them, and added to that now for report any useful information to the direct supervisor. The thing when they say you apply for the work and you for be reliable. Reliability for always be depend on. You get for the go work all the time. You get for be available for information. You get for be punctual. You get for get respect for people them, and same way so you get for get good time management. So if you are interested, you for now you upload your CV. You cover letter. If you say no enough for pass one page and explain why you want to apply for this particular position and what make you think say you fit for this position here. So then say for the deadline for application na 15 August 2025, and not forget see if you also put your national ID card, your voter's ID card, and driver's license. So in Sensia Munafa Foundation is looking for a field officer. You don't get time with local language. First you go watch today's show for get more from or visit their website. Now from that, we'll go into headline review, and Patrick Salea is here with us to take us through. Good afternoon, Patrick, and welcome.
Good afternoon, Rabiatu, and good afternoon, Sir Lilians. As we head to the polls for voting the new president of SLFA, the league season almost they're about for start and end. They're about for start in Europe, and they're about for end in Salon. In a couple of match weeks' time, the Sierra Leone Rock Premier League will come to a close, just for about 3 or 4 matches remaining in the league season. And elsewhere in Europe, of course, by 15th of August, we'd expect the English Premier League for kickstart. So don't be shocked. You see me in Manchester United clad, and then anticipating already the commencement of the league season. Struggling Manchester United and struggling mighty Blackpool at home. Well, I'll go straight into the stories where basically you need for catch breath with. Let's start with Kids Parliament. Obviously, they had their recent session. Kids Parliament are a group of young Sierra Leoneans, kids themselves, sitting on issues which pertain them, and they discuss the issue that they will matter to them. So the organization itself called Kids Parliament, we comprise of school picking from across different schools, Afritong and elsewhere, actually don't do this for some time now. But in the last session, here is Mohamed Baki Kamara with file of some of the proceedings.
Honorable members, I'd like to welcome you all to another session of our Parliament. I welcome honorable members from the entire district who are here as representatives to the many children in their various communities.
Kids Parliament Sierra Leone don't lay a bill with them call Violence Against Child. Women say they thinks them like mommy and daddy business, pass smack beats, and anything where they unbog the way how picking them they think. Inside them 8 parliaments is sitting this year.
Today we gather not as opponents, but as children carrying invincible scars. Violence against children is any act, physical, emotional, or sexual, or even psychological, that may cause harm, fear, or suffering to a child. It wears many faces like a mother shouting in worry, a stranger online exploiting a teenager, a cane washing the back of a young child, all in the name of discipline. These acts often happen in our homes, in our schools, the markets, even in our homes. Across our country are so many children suffering in silence. The silence that follows with a slap. The silence that follows after your uncle says, "Don't tell anyone." The silence that follows after a girl is forced to marry at a young age. The silence that follows after a boy is forced to work instead of learn. Violence has become something so common, many call it normal. But we are here to say today that it is not. It is dangerous and it is shameful. That is why we are here, and it must end.
We rise not only with the strength of a party, but with the sheer responsibility of a nation.
Yes.
Thank you. This bill laid before us is not an ordinary motion. It is a matter of urgency, of heartbreak, and of justice. Before us, we have violence against us children because it is real, it is brutal, and it is everywhere. Madam Speaker, whether it is a child born with husband, beaten in the name of discipline, trafficked beyond borders, or married before even she could understand her words, all forms of violence is a betrayal of rights, a betrayal of humanity, and a betrayal of promise made to us children.
On a more serious note, Madam Speaker, the bill here today is violence against children. And if we replace the word children with us, it is you and I. So I want us to radically look at this, bring out the issues of violence we're faced with, its causes, and propose solutions. I know each and every one of us here today has been through violence. Some we may know and some we may not, because we see them as respect or our culture. Madam Speaker, it saddens my heart to know that violence in Sierra Leone doesn't only cost Sierra Leone lives, but livelihoods. It costs us innovators, leaders, esteemed entrepreneurs.
Them honorable speakers here from the Kids Parliament say all them boku bit and unwanted touch from abusers them, they spoil them dreams for be better people them in our society. So them want this cry for be a public concern.
Madam Speaker, honorable members, violence is not merely a moral failure. It is a national emergency from the hidden damages of the will takes truth to power. Madam Speaker, violence against children is often. Violence is not disrespect. Obedience is not fair. Madam Speaker, every slap, every unwanted touch, every cruel word washes away dreams, silences potential, and robs this nation to its future. Madam Speaker, let this debate light the torch to justice. To those who always argue that child protection is a luxury in a poor nation, must also ask themselves, what is the outcome of a traumatized generation? We cannot rebuild Sierra Leone if we are rebuilding it on broken.
Kids Parliament Sierra Leone, they also blame the government office them when not they take the picking business seriously. Them say the public service them weak, who say them supposed to be strong. Them also say people were concerned they misuse the money them where they come for picking business, and this the one of them serious one.
The reason why child-related offices exist is because of the structure and leadership built by the Ministry of Public Administration and Political Affairs. I will boldly state that we are fortunate to have the right man at the right place. As his representative, I give glory to God for giving me the chance to learn deeply from him. His mentorship has not only taught me policies, but purpose. Since we're on a solution to end violence against children, I therefore want to share our rich insights our ministry upholds. Violence against children exists not because we lack ideas and laws, but because public services are weak where it matters most. Too many who hold these positions do not serve, but defend themselves and not the people.
Madam Speaker, allow me to start with the health sector, where violence against children leaves invisible wounds far beyond what the eyes can see. Trauma, anxiety, depression, these are not just some for adults. Children are also affected with these issues. So as the honorable member was asking, why is there no dedicated child trauma counselors in hospitals? Why do some rural health posts lack even the basic training to detect abuse? Why are survivors sometimes treated with suspicion, not compassion? Madam Speaker, I am suggesting that we must demand a cross-sector training for all health workers to be able to recognize abuse.
Madam Speaker, the painful thing is that funds meant for child protection are constantly being misused, diverted, or trapped. And the tragedy is, those who are trusted with our welfare lack the commitment and competence to deliver. Let's be honest, those individuals who are placed in child-related offices
do not know the UN Convention of the Rights of the Child, or are they familiar with the Child Rights Act? If they don't know our rights, how can they defend it? If they don't believe in our future, how can they protect it?
As them they end this parliamentary sitting, Kids Parliaments they urge the bigger parliaments for make them hold this them position paper Tranga 1 and picking business for be a primary concern.
We must be serious and attentive in our solutions. We are attaching to an argument with a good position paper. Let me just bring your attention to a few articles in the CRC to help all of you. Article 3, Best Interests of the Child. By prioritizing violence prevention, the best interest of the child should be primary consideration. Article 12, respects the views of every child. The bigger parliament expresses this principle by giving us a formal space to express our views, especially violence, and ensuring that our views are taken seriously by decision makers. Article 12, protection from violence. This article obligates government to protect children from any form of physical or mental violence, injury or abuse, neglect, treatment, maltreatment, exploitation, even sexual abuse. Madam Speaker, if we use these 3 articles to get solutions from everything that has been discussed here today, I believe we'll come out with a good position paper that when we lay it before the bigger parliament, it will be handled with care.
For Slick TV, Mohamed Bake Kamari.
So that's not the House of Legislature. The people already make laws in this country. So they picking and don't start them. They say catch them young. So obviously that house will then picking and they be deliberate. Don't produce now a new Secretary General of the Sierra Leone People's Party, the SLPP. Inside the election yesterday, Honorable Paran Tarawali, who has been the Clerk of Parliament, is now officially the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone People's Party. That'll bring you up to speed with the list of candidates where they win the party executive, where they take over the administration of the SLPP. You get the front line there, Jimmy Batilo Songa, the man where plenty of people don't consider for be man of the people, grassroots man, more or less. They don't contest against Dr. Prince Alex Aden, fondly known as the Bullet. In 2021 in Abo Stadium and lost to Dr. Prince Alex Harden. Before that, before he contest, he had been the organizing secretary for the SLPP. And he been come all the way from the United States, having had, after he don't serve as head of the SLPP in the United States of America, North America branch, more or less, and come join the National Secretariat as organizing secretary. So in 2021, he contested after, well, one propelled from being mere organizing secretary of the SLPP to national chairman, but lost to Dr. Alex Aden, who is now the outgoing chairman. So he's now the substantive chairman of the SLPP. And then a young face deputizing him, Robert Kondi Makago, a civil society person of long years standing, where we done the advocating campaign on drug and alcohol misuse in the country. With civil society organization back then in the early 2000 or mid 2000, where been the all the way Calabaton. Robert Kondi Makago is a household civil society name. Now the chairman, deputy chairman, deputizing Jimmy Batilo Songa. He's the deputy chairman of the SLPP, a young face. And then you get the pen pusher of the party, the controversial man. Well, he came to parliament in 2007. Following the transition from the Ahmed Tijan Kaba administration to Ernest Bai Koroma administration, and successfully entered parliament as one of the few SLPP people who will be enter parliament that year, together with the likes of Fodirado Yoki, Fry, Honorable Bashiru Siliki, who is still in the parliament, and a few other people as well. Now, Honorable Parantal in 2013, not been successful, however, due to certain eligibility election criteria, where not been make to parliament as a member of parliament, but rather secured the appointment by the president for be the clerk of parliament when at the administrative head of the House of Legislature. So now, remember, quite recently, a few weeks down the line, he was brought on the spotlight for wanting to contest for this very position. So the APC contested his role, say you're not going to be the referee and the player at the same time. So you're not going to be the judge and the person where they go lay complain at court, or the person where they go lay complain against the court at the same time. So APC asked that Honorable Parantawali step aside, and the president accordingly instructed the Speaker of Parliament for Honorable Parantawali stepped aside. And then luckily for him, he clinched the Secretary General post, having contested alongside some other veteran names within the SLPP, the likes of Honorable Philip Tetema Tondone, when a former regional chairman of the SLPP Eastern Region, the likes of Aziz Sajo Kamara, when the current Deputy Minister of Tertiary and Higher Education, and then you get a few other names where he contests against, and then he clinched the Secretary General post as the pen pusher of the SLPP. And then you get Sheku Toure, well, not so popular name within the SLPP, but he is the Deputy Secretary General, where the deputized Honorable Parantawali. And then he comes to the bottom row of 3 people, starting with Moses Mambu. Moses Mambu, of course, quite recently he came under some strong controversy where he declared, say he has been a member of the SLPP for 10 or plus years, having already been a civil society activist back then. So see the results, he pulled 718 votes out of the total of 1,000 plus number of votes weighed and totally cast at the elections yesterday at Bintuman International Conference Center. So Moses Mambuna is officially the mouthpiece of the SLPP, and he therefore served that role for the next 4 years, for the next 3 to 4 years, yes. And then you get Alassane George, now the organizing secretary, taking the place of Jimmy Batilo Songa, who has served that position there until 2021. And then George now is being deputized by current press officer for the Salon Embassy in Banjul, the Gambia, Mahawa Aliu, a former journalist with the SLBC. We're currently in the press attaché in the Salon Embassy in Banjul, the Gambia. So these are the lineup, these are the team of players at the National Secretariat of the SLPP. You get 7 of them. Jimmy Batilo Songa pulling 618 votes. Robert Kone Makabo 380 votes. Parantawali 848 votes. A sweeping majority from the total number of votes cast. Sheku Toure pulling 268 votes. A tight contest with a lady. He beats one of the ladies by just 4 votes for he clinched the Secretary General post. And then you get Moses Mambu, when at the PRO, 718 votes. And then, well, arguably the second highest votes where any of them pulled so far. And then George, 551 votes. Mahawa Aliu, 399 votes. This is not the lineup of the SLPP executive for you. And this is not the executive where President Julius Maada Bio say they use more or less for lead the party, the SLPP, to victory in 2028. He say only the SLPP will win election 3 times in a row, which the APC is currently arguing and contesting, and say, well, let's see how that will work out or span out. Well, it's a drama that is unfolding altogether. It's a public discourse, and we can't wait, and we can't afford to lose out on that drama as an unfold. We'll bring the arguments as they roll over.
You know,
this is the list.
Quick on Patrick. I mean, 7 names there, and we tend to see only a lady, 1 woman, make them up to the list. Well, that's again asked so many questions.
Unfortunately for Sheku Toure, he couldn't have been the deputy organizing secretary. Had it not been for just the 2 votes difference between.
I didn't think he said election and number.
Yes, it's simple. First past the post, you beat person by 1, then the person winner.
Then that's it. So just a lady may come up to the list, and that again doesn't spread the whole waves altogether. When people are asking the question, this same government make a quota or provision for 30% women into any sector or so, and now women then be contest, but just 1 now you may come to the list. That's just one side. And also the position for the deputy chairperson, Roberts actually contested also with a lady. Also, arguably, she's one of the oldest sitting parliamentarians. It's a bit like we can say, Peking can beat him, mama. So it's sending a whole different waves altogether, because people are asking the question. I mean, you've been there, they were in a sister radio station, they had this banter, and I could quote from where talk say, Well, Usai, me no ever sabi you. I've been here for a very long time and thought people should actually choose me for be a leader. But when they went there, Robert won. And another one where they sent for Make Wave, now let's come from the angle from the civil society, now the fact that both Mambu and them Robert, then also come out to a civil society angle, wherein people are also asking the question if civil society is a stepping stone to politics. Usai and they don't kai Allah. Yeah, Joe Bana is not doing the right thing. Joe Bana is when power changes, they tend to keep quiet, and later you see they actually vie for a position, however they won. Now, like you mentioned, the most controversial and we get the landslide beating, now the issue of Parantarawali Usai, even 48 hours to the election, I'm sorry, there was a petition around his whole issue there, but yet he won with the highest.
The petition was discountenanced and then say, you know, get a leg for TINAP.
For TINAP, 551.
Yes, already Honorable Parantarawali has had controversies also with regards corruption allegations on his head, aside and say he employ in wealth fictitiously or in a fraudulent manner, and then eventually ACC FENAM wanting and then suspend him from holding public office for at least 3 years and ask him for refund certain amount of money. And some people are even in question. So SLPP is SLPP now legitimizing corruption and more or less all those things. But this has been the trend within the political landscape in Sierra Leone. I remember there was a politician within the APC as well, Dr. Richard Conte. I remember during the Anesbai Kuruma era, he once served as Minister of Finance, and then he also served as Chief of Staff at State House. And at some point, corruption allegation being Sidomna aid and over some forging the president's signature, and also, well, if you look at some politician, well, more or less the drama was mixed, was a mixed bag. Look at a politician from Nigeria where he can claim some accolade now, so and then Goodluck Jonathan at the time, when I be the president of Nigeria, got angered because just after Goodluck Jonathan began send some support to Salon during the election period, that was around after the 2012 election. That was the time Dr. Richard Conte brought that APC person at the time to Salon, and then take him to Jala and give him honorary doctorate degree, and then clad them with some Sierra Leone personalities. So all that don't span out over the years, plus one or two other instances of people washing their allegation of corruptions within their own very party, and then the party they
get away with them easily.
They come back and present those individuals as clean people. Remember, Dr. Richard Conte in the last APC convention came second after Dr. Samura Kamara. So these have been the interplay within the political, especially APC and SLPP. So hardly somebody will say one is cleaner than the other. Some people only say in fact at the same amount. Hence the reason Dr. Kanda Yumkela at some point in time we don't refer to the two political parties as Alusain and Alassane. However, though, he's now one of them.
And this thing is said all na mami yebu in kukri and it's na passival state.
Mamidov. Anyways, so now we go away from the SLPP and take some of the newspapers before we close this headline review segment. Don't take so long times. We say here, as CAS declares Aminata eligible, SLFA to hold elective Congress tomorrow. These are the phases and names of the individual, the phases more or less, no names attached there. You get Babadi Kamara, as Mohamed Tobikago been analyzed earlier in the sports segment. Babadi Kamara is a notable name in football, especially having established or having served as chairman or assuming the role of chairman of Bo Rangers and then constructing a 6,000-seater stadium at Bo Southern Arena. Well, a name can begin play, first of all, with the timber business, where more or less he is the sole agent for exporting timber out of this country. So, Babadi Kamara are the individual list. Aminata Bangura is more or less seen as the APC candidate. That is the argument that is going on around. So whereas Babadi Kamara is seen as the SLPP candidate, more or less, national politics is deep-rooted into every aspect of the Sierra Leonean society. You know, Aminata Bangura, obviously, if you check all the social media handles, and then you see the people who more or less they promote Aminata Bangura, then you want to believe that this is how the politics has been. Whereas Babadi Kamara is being promoted more or less around the circles of SLPP. Aminata Bangura has been promoted more or less around the circles of the APC. Unlike probably Mr. Ba, where kind of they dilute the situation or dilute the atmosphere of the environment. But now the three candidates and we get for going to the race tomorrow, Nalunge, for one of them get for eventually emerge the president of the SLFA. But remember, Aminata Bangura is given a provisional certificate for contest the election. Remember, now just a few hours ago, NCAS ruled in favor, overturning the decision by the ethics committee for disqualifying him. So it only qualify on a provisional basis. So meaning those that it will contest. If it win, the arbitration na CAS will continue. The arbitration na CAS, the Court of Sports Administration and all that, will therefore continue. If he lost the appeal na CAS, then automatically we should be expecting another election to be conducted by the SLFA. And then we'll be thinking of one or two other things. The reason they allowed the entire process to go, because already SLFA, they don't request for the SLFA, put a hold on to the entire process. And SLFA requested that, no, we have come this far. We should not turn back insofar as preparations are concerned. How much we don't invest, people don't book hotels, people don't travel from them various occasions, already don't go locate Nalunge, they don't occupy them places, and now every process is on set. Why should we turn back and then all those stuff? So she was given a provisional certificate to contest, pending that hearing substantially for determine the relevance of in claims rather we appeal for. So let's gear up if Aminata Bangura win. If, remember, I'm not endorsing, I'm not even discarding that as well. If, underline the word if she wins, then expect probably, don't look forward to the decision, the final decision by that CAS body, where will make the entire process become a little more dramatic in the football landscape in Sierra Leone. And I don't see a lot of arguments already. People, they say, why is it that FIFA and CAF almost always they interfere into waiting with national institutions they don't make a decision upon? But remember, football is an independent administration devoid of national administration and politics. But the question plenty of people only ask now that if there wasn't a Sierra Leone, there shouldn't have been a Sierra Leone Football Association. So the word Sierra Leone Football Association first come before ever you consider say it should be independent and devoid from the people of Sierra Leone and other institutions of the state. So these have been the concerns more or less in the SLFA Congress, which is slated to take place in Lunge tomorrow. Let us gear up for the drama. Well, so much is being discussed, and then the conversation continues at various quarters, and then it's going to be a very long ride.
You know, when you say very long ride, now tomorrow, Manga for no say 24 hours actually not enough for make a day. But again, may the best man win. And this whole saga on this whole election, where I made it for understand where I get yesterday from people where we didn't have been to money yesterday was that once we fulfilled that delegate election.
Unpredictable. I remember the election of Thomas Daddy Brema in Makeni. In fact, the most popular candidate at the time was Dinakoi. Dinakoi lost to the utmost shock of almost everybody. And Thomas Daddy Brema was almost nowhere as a candidate.
It just came just
at the
like
11th hour, 59 minutes and 59 seconds. That was when he popped up and then eventually clinched the presidency of the SLFA. Unfortunately, he couldn't continue for his second term based on the decision by the ethics committee for disqualifying. But one of the people who didn't disqualify alongside Thomas Daddy Brema, Aminata, has been given a temporary green light. Maybe we cannot rule out Thomas Daddy Brema's return to the ballot paper. We don't know yet. Let us wait until tomorrow. We don't know.
We still get time.
Waiting will get for a match. That's why I said the drama is a long road to go. Let us wait and see. And let us follow for more on that. We'll move away from the from that story and then go to some national security issues, and then waiting don't put Salone on a tenterhooks. Remember this story of your Lydikas? Well, the police been say na Umar Sharif. And say na mistaken identity at some point in time. But the Dutch government, they continue to pursue and insist say this is not a mistaken identity. This is your Lydikas. At the time he was convicted in the Netherlands, it was around 20 or 21 thereof.
2021.
Yes. So he entered allegedly into Sierra Leone around 2021, 2022. He moved from the Netherlands, he go one or two other European countries, and then to Turkey, from Turkey, eventually through one or two other countries as well. Eventually he ended up in Sierra Leone. So in 2022 thereof, Jos Lydikas was alleged to have dropped into Sierra Leone and settled. And then eventually now, he's alleged to be married or having a relationship with one of the president's daughter. And then he is the biggest story upon aid. Now, in presence na Salone, and the frequency of boats, playing them, and the drug trafficking will not increase. So there was a story recently published by a particular magazine in the Netherlands. Go out and grab that. Check for the article. An extensive, beautiful read where you go to go through of Jos Lydikas. Just type Jos Lydikas as social media handles, or you Google search Jos Lydikas, and then you will see the story, and then you get a beautiful read about the story of Jos Lydikas. Unfolding drama in terms of his fights and other things surrounding him, personally and business-wise, and then in ties with some top high-ranking government officials. Remember, he was one of the reasons believed by Sierra Leoneans largely for the sacking of the chief immigration boss, Honorable Alusain Kane, sometime recently, because Jos Lydikas was linked to him, and then also Jos Lydikas also has been linked to the current head of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Andrew Jai Kai, because at the time we been Sierra Leone, Naina be the head of immigration. Yes. So probably the point where police they now say them get a mismatch or mistaken identity, instead of Jos Lydikas, Umar Sharif then get, probably during Andrew Jai Kai era, that swap or arrangement must have been made of his passport. So this is Jos Lydikas on your screen, the white man on your screen, not the black man. The black man you see on the screen, that Dr. Ibrahim Bangura, one of the APC strongman, strongman I would say, because so far he's been portrayed or projected to be so among the good number of candidates and where they come up so far for lead the APC or for take the flag of the APC for 2028 election. Well, we'll see how that drama did unfold, because President Julius Maada Bio now is now anticipating that the SLPP might continue after the 2028 election. Well, taking cue from Nigeria, Usai Buhari led Nigeria for 2 terms, and now APC, they continue in Nigeria under Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So that's the trajectory more or less that they project, that the SLPP might continue. The APC doesn't want to hear that, and they have been constantly and continuously denying that will never happen in Sierra Leone. The 10 years is not going to end. Let us wait and see. Well, that's all for us. And if I say that's all for us, the Premier News newspaper here says, carrying the same story of Aminata Bangura, this is top story in almost major newspapers across Sierra Leone today. The cast declaring Aminata Bangura qualified now on a provisional basis for contest the SLFA. One mobile and so much more stories you go find at the front page of the Premier News newspaper. I'm afraid time is not our friend. This is now how we go end the headlines review. I guess, Rabi.
Thank you very much, Patrick. We don't take you through the headlines review, and thus we go draw the curtain down to the final edition of the Today's Show. I mean, tomorrow is going to be very long with the whole SLAFA election, which I'm sure almost everybody will be glued to and more interested in. So we're also hoping that we go have an added hour or more hours to the 24 hours to go enjoy the smooth ride where it will actually get to be. And thus I want to say thanks to the entire production team. You will take your precious time for stay glued to the Sleek family. Always have a beautiful and a successful weekend. I am Agabi Atuman Saye.